So in this section, we're going to talk about using handheld. Now, there are times when, especially if you're working in confined spaces, you just simply can't use a tripod, a slider, or even a monopod. So you have to have some techniques in your armory for getting good, stable handheld shots. Now, examples of when handheld is essential are things like BTS shoots. Maybe you're shooting BTS for a music video. In this example, from a music video we shot last year, you can see there's an awful lot going on the set. We're in a kitchen, a domestic kitchen. There is no space. We've got lighting stands, we've got monitors. This was a class, we had 12 students. When you're shooting BTS, or in many cases any kind of corporate film, you can really be up against it for confined space. So working handheld means that you can get all the necessary shots. So what are some of the things that we need to consider when shooting handheld? Well, one is lens choice. I'm using here the 17-55 Canon. This is an absolutely brilliant go-to lens for doing BTS and documentary. It's got image stabilization. Optical image stabilization means that it acts as a means of stabilizing any movement that might be in the shot. What we're looking to do when shooting handheld is find as many ways as possible to stabilize our image. Now that can include stabilizing a little bit in post-production, but the more you can do on location, the better it can be. Let me show you some simple techniques, just hand holding. Obviously, if you're hand holding a camera and you're just holding it out here, there's a natural tendency for the camera to drop down and not give you stable shots. So what I do is I brace myself, I spread my legs, I tuck my arms in, one hand goes underneath the camera base plate, using something like the Z Finder, I brace it up against my face, and I tuck my arms in. And then another technique is to, when you go to take the shot, take a deep breath and hold your breath. Now do this if you're comfortable with it, but what that does is it stops any breathing movement, accentuating the camera moving up and down. Let me demonstrate. I'll just find a shot down here, not particularly of anything specific. Zoom in a little bit. I'm just going to hold my breath. So you can really stabilize the shot by just holding your breath for a few seconds. Now, other things you can do is, see this pole here? You can take advantage of this and actually use it to lean against. So let's say I wanted to do a shot of this tree. Again, using my arm here, camera with hand on the grip, eye against the eyepiece. I can even lean against the pole and just stabilize the shot. And again, hold my breath. And that image stabilization really does help to stabilize what's going on. Move over here, Linda. You mustn't forget to take advantage of items in the frame that can really, really help you. For example here, you can actually lay the camera down on this concrete plinth. It gives you absolute stability, and again, eye against the eyepiece, hand on the grip. Notice how my arms are acting as tripod legs, and again, just hold my breath. And that's at 17mm. Now, if you use a wider lens, you're going to get more stable shots because the field of view is so much wider, so you won't notice any wobble at the end of the frame. But you can also zoom in and use other aspects of the lens. So we go right into 55 here and frame that shot. And I can get my thumb underneath here and just do whatever you need to do to stabilize the shot. And once you're happy, hold your breath. And you can just let the action play out in frame. Now that's just using handheld. Of course, you can also lay it down on the ground if you want and do shots similarly where you place the camera on the ground. Another option, of course, is using a monopod.